Hope you all are doing good. So earlier I showed how to install Oracle VirtualBox in my previous post. So if you want to see that link, I will give it in the description, and you will also see in the I button at the top where you can go ahead and visit how to install Oracle VirtualBox. So now we are going to install a Linux on our VirtualBox. So that will mean that we are going to create a virtual server on our host system. So the system that you are seeing currently, that would be called as the host system, and the system that you are going to create in the VirtualBox, that would be called as the guest system. So to start with, we will be going ahead and using CentOS as our Linux version. So to go ahead and use CentOS, we have to first go ahead and download it. So open up a browser. We will write centos.org and it will take you to the CentOS. So it is a community edition Linux, so anyone can use it. Comes under the GNU license, and anyone can go ahead and use this. So we will select the CentOS Linux, and we can see we have three different versions: the version 8, version 7, and version 6. So we will be downloading the latest version, that is the CentOS version 8, and we have various options like ISO file, whether we want to download it as a container or we want to download certain RPMs for that. So we are going ahead and downloading the ISO file. So I will click on it and it will redirect me to the ISO images that are available. So we can go ahead and download any of these versions. So I will click on the first link and it will show me the ISO size here. So if you see the size, so the ISO size would be around 7.7 gigs, which you can go ahead and download depending upon your network bandwidth. But let's say if you don't have a bandwidth, you can prefer to use a lower version where the size would be less when compared to the version 8. Okay, so you can download any of these versions. So here you can see it's just a 4 GB file. Okay, so you can do a direct download, or you can go ahead and download via the torrent. Okay, so I will go ahead and download the CentOS 7 here due to the size constraint. So I will download the torrent file, and then from this torrent I can simply go ahead and fetch the file which I want to download. So I need to download this CentOS. So it is of 4.78 GB. So I will be downloading this. I don't need everything, I just need my ISO file. I will click open and start the torrent, so it will start the download. Okay, so if you can see, it has started the download. So it will take some time to go ahead and download based on the bandwidth of your internet provider. Okay, so we will wait until the download completes. Okay, so now our CentOS OS ISO has been downloaded. So if we go ahead and see in our download folder, we can see the CentOS OS file would be there, and this is the ISO that we would be using for installation of our CentOS OS Linux. So first we have to go ahead and open up our VirtualBox, and the VirtualBox will be used for creating a virtual server. So the machines or the server that we create in our VirtualBox, they are also called as the guest machines. So let me open my VirtualBox. So it is the Oracle VirtualBox here. So here you can see this is the Oracle VirtualBox that we just now opened. Now here if you see, these are the various virtual servers that I have created. So what does this mean? Whenever we are going ahead and creating a guest machine here or a guest server, so that server is going to use the resources in the sense means the CPU, the hardware, the RAM, memory, hard disk, those would be used from your main host machine. So if my system is having a 16 GB RAM and if I am giving my guest machine as 8 GB, so out of those 16 GB, my 8 GB will be consumed by my machine. So that would only be consumed when your machine is up and running. If these machines are down, see I have many multiple machines, and if these machines are down, it is not consuming any resources from the host machine. So in case you have never created any machine, so all these would be blank, there would be no machines detail here. So we have to click new to create a new machine. I will click new and I will mention any name, whatever name you want to give. CentOS Linux 7, so that I know it's a Linux CentOS 7 version. Then machine folder where the files related to this machine would be created, so it would be created in this particular directory. So if you see, this particular is also coming in the same format as a Linux format, the path, because my host machine and my guest machine both are Linux. So this is also a Linux environment, and on that I have installed a VirtualBox. So my host machine is also Linux and my guest machine that I'm going to create is also a Linux. But the same way it will work for Windows. Like if your host machine is Windows, you don't have to do anything, only you have to just select the path. So that path may be somewhere in the C drive, D drive, or whichever drive you want to select. Then I will go ahead and select Linux, and by default as soon as you write CentOS, so the virtual manager is smart enough to determine, okay, this is a type as Linux and the version is Red Hat. So there is no specific version for CentOS, so CentOS shares the same DNA as Red Hat, so by default it is picking Red Hat. So because we downloaded the 64-bit ISO, so we are going to use this 64-bit version and click next. Then it will ask you what should be the RAM size of this machine or the virtual or the guest machine that I'm going to create. So I will give it somewhere around 3 GB. Okay, so you can type in, you can use this slider to move up and down to make the changes. You can make these changes later on also if you want to increase the memory. So whatever you are seeing in the green color, that is the safe limit which you can give. And if you are going ahead and assigning a value which goes and crosses this green limit and goes into the red zone, so that will be slowing down your system, that would be consuming more space, and your main host machine would be facing issues, it might get freezed. So it's preferred to use only the resources within the green limit. So I will click next. Then it will create a virtual hard disk. So because we don't have any hard disk, so we are going to create a virtual hard disk. So this virtual hard disk would be created on top of your main host machine hard disk. I will go and create. So this is the virtual hard disk version, VDI. I will click next, and I will say make it dynamically allocated or fixed size. So I will be selecting dynamically allocated. So it would be allotting a particular space. Let's say it will allot 10 GB space, but out of 10 GB it will only use the amount of space that you want, or where you are actually going ahead and storing the files. If you are not storing files for 10 GB, it will not be going ahead and consuming those space from your host machine. So we are selecting it as dynamically allocated. Click next. So it will say where you want to create the virtual hard disk. So again you have to select the path. In case of Windows, you have to select your C drive, E drive, D drive, wherever you have the space, and I will say use 10 GB. Okay, so I am going to give a virtual disk size as 10 GB, and I will click on create. So if you see here, a new machine is created here, and it has these configuration details that I have selected. Now I will make few changes to make sure it works better. So I will go ahead and show you the system. So here you can later on also increase your RAM size or anything. Processor, let's say if you have more number of CPU cores, you can go ahead and increase. So let's say I will make it 2, so that will be within my safe limits, so that would be fine. Click next, that is fine. So this is your display. So in case we are going to add and install a GUI, so that display would be quite useful to have a better display. So you can give it as 128 MB, that is fine. Rest all we don't need to touch. Storage, so storage, see here is the virtual disk where the installation will take place, and this empty, this would be the disk that we are going to mount. Okay, so it's just like a CD drive where we are actually going ahead and inserting a CD. So here in this case we are actually going ahead and inserting our ISO CD image that we have just now downloaded. So I will select the ISO. So it is not by default selecting, so I will go ahead and browse, choose a disk and go to my download folders, and from here I will select my CentOS image. So it has selected the image. Now it has been mounted. It's the same thing like you have inserted a CD in your CD drive of your laptop or desktop. Audio, we are not much bothered about audio. Network, so network I would be selecting as the first as the bridge adapter. So bridge adapter will help you to access the internet from the host machine to your guest machine as well. So whatever the host machine is using, maybe it is using a Wi-Fi adapter or an Ethernet adapter. So based on that it will select. So in case you are on Windows, so it will show you some adapter names, whether it's a wireless adapter or a LAN adapter. So you can select anyone, which one you are using for your internet on your host machine. So because it's a Linux host machine, so for it the wireless adapter name starts with W and the LAN adapter name starts with E. So as I'm using the Wi-Fi adapter here, Wi-Fi internet, so it is going ahead and selecting the internet adapter here. That's it for now, we don't need anything else, and I will click OK. So once all these settings are done, I have to simply go ahead and select the start button so that the system will start booting from the ISO. So as soon as you do it, it will ask you what should be your startup disk, because this is the first time and we have nothing installed in the hard disk, the 10 GB hard disk that we just now allocated, the virtual hard disk, and no OS is installed there. So we will select the ISO, that okay, boot up from the ISO image. So we will select the CentOS ISO image and click on start, and we will use your up arrow key to select. So the version that you can see as white, which becomes white, that is the currently selected, and hit enter to install the CentOS. So now it will do some checks. So these are fine, you don't need to worry on those part because there is no floppy drive, and it is booting up from the ISO image. So the installer name here in Linux is called as Anaconda. So there are chances that your mouse gets stuck inside this and you are not able to come out of your mouse. So you have to click the host key. The host key is also the right control key in your keyboard. So if let's say your mouse is stuck here, so you can go ahead and click your right control key to come out. See, this mouse will not come out from my main host machine. So you have to just press right control key. So it will leave the mouse and you can come out on your host machine. And again you can click it back, so the mouse will start working inside. And I can select the region and the language. Click continue. So by default it will detect what is your date and time location, what is the keyboard based on the region that you have selected, and then it will select the installation source. So until this is gray, that means it is going ahead and doing the checks. So let it become black like this, so that means that check has been successful. So see, all these has become black here. Now if you want software selection, so I prefer to use a server with a GUI, so that you will get a GUI image or a graphical interface which would be easier for you to understand. But in a real-time scenario, mostly we will use a server without a GUI. But here, because this is the first time you are going ahead and learning Oracle Linux or CentOS Linux, so you can go ahead and select the server with a GUI. So again, as soon as I go ahead and check for the different type of installation, it will go ahead and do a check again, and it is waiting whether the what selection you have made, and based on the ISO whether that feature is available in that ISO or not. So let it do. Meanwhile, you can go ahead and do the other setups. Network. So see, I have attached the adapter, that is the adapter, bridge adapter, which we selected during the time of the machine setup. So I can click it on, and I can go ahead and give a host name to this machine. So host name is the machine name that is used for that specific machine. So I can give it as techlife1.lab. So this should be my machine name, and I will click on apply. So this is my host name, and I will make sure my Ethernet is connected. Once this is done, you click on done. That would be set up. So see here, it will show you wired connected. Meanwhile, our software install media and those checks are also completed. Now it will ask you where do you want to install. So it will say you can select automatically configuring the partition. So let it automatically configure. We will see later on in the other sessions that how we do ahead and do a custom configuration. For now, I will select it as automatic configuration and click on done. So it will just show you that it has been selected automatically. Then we don't need any security profile for now, so we will just go ahead and click on begin installation. So it will ask you, so the super user in any Linux based environment is called as root. So you have to set a password for root user. So it will go ahead and give you a warning in case you are going ahead and giving a weak password. So you should give a strong password. Normally it recommends, but if you are giving a weak password, it will mention at the bottom. If you can see the yellow color strip, the password you have provided is weak. So you can click done to ignore it, and you can press done once more. So twice you have to press done if you are giving a weak password to accept that. So now it has accepted. I don't want to create any separate user, or in case you want, you can go ahead and create a separate user as well. So I can say I will go ahead and create a user as Himanshu, and I want to make it as administrator, so it will have all the privileges of your administrator. And I will say I will need a password for this as well. So Oracle 123 and Oracle 123. Let's say I'm giving this password. Again, this is a weak password, but that's fine. I will click done and done one more time, and it would be selected. So now it is going to install 1354 packages and RPMs in this system. So it is going to take some time based on the environment. So we will wait for the time it gets completed. So it will be taking around 30 to 40 minutes depending upon your machine which you are using and what is the processor. So we will wait until the installation completes. So now our installation is completed. So we will just click on the reboot. And it will reboot the system. So we will need to select the first one, hit enter. And it will start the CentOS Linux 7. So for the first time, it might take a few minutes to boot up the system, which is normal. So now if we see, it will take you to a initial setup screen. So we have to just accept the license. So this is a general public license, so it can be used by anyone. So we can just select accept and click on done. So license accepted. Your network and the host name was already set up during the time of installation, so that is already showing as connected. That's it, and we will click on the finish configuration to complete this setup, and it will start your system and take you to the login screen. So now you can see you have the user, that is Himanshu, that was given at the time of installation. In case you want to log in via root user, which is the super user in any Linux system, you have to click on not listed and enter the root username by default. So by default it will not show you root on this screen, on the login screen. You have to specifically go ahead and mention that. So right now I will log in with Himanshu user, enter the password and click enter. And that will log into your CentOS Linux system. So here we go. So this is our system that we can see is up and running. If we want to open a terminal, you can simply go ahead, click on open terminal, and it will open up a terminal where we can write down our commands and the system will execute them. So this is the initial setup screen which you can quickly just complete it. If you don't want your privacy, you can turn it off, escape, and that's it. And just close it, and df-hatch, this is one command. So from where we can see this is our system that is ready. And if you want to see the host name that we gave at the time of installation, this is my host name. And if you want to test whether the internet connectivity is working, as we have set up a bridged adapter during the time of interface, so we will just do ping google.com, and here we go, we get a reply. So our internet is also working on this server. So that would be all for this session. If you like this video, please click on the subscribe button and press the bell icon to get the latest notifications.